I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who would write something like this, but here I am, staring at the ceiling in the dark while my husband sleeps next to me, my phone glowing in my hand. Maybe that's where the rot started, lying awake with all these thoughts I couldn't share with him. We've been married for 11 years, and on the surface, it looks solid. We own a modest house in a quiet neighborhood, two kids who are still young enough to think of us as heroes, and jobs that pay the bills without making us miserable. People who know us from the outside say we're stable, but inside it's like I've been suffocating. The first shift happened gradually. My husband used to look at me like I was more than just a mother or a coworker in life's grind. Over the years, that gaze dulled. I know he loves me in his way, but it's a love that's become routine, like brushing your teeth or folding laundry. Functional, necessary, but stripped of tenderness. At some point, we stopped being lovers and became business partners who happened to sleep in the same bed. I told myself it was normal. Everyone grows out of the butterflies and fireworks stage. That's what my friends always say when they complain about their husbands leaving dirty dishes or forgetting anniversaries. But it wasn't just about the fireworks. I missed being seen, being noticed as a woman. Not just the mother of his children, not just the person who picks up milk on the way home. I didn't go looking for it. I swear I didn't. It started at work. He was a contractor we'd hired temporarily for a big project, and from day one, he had this easy confidence about him. Not arrogant, just present. He actually listened when I spoke, not with half an ear while scrolling his phone. He laughed at my sarcastic jokes, asked follow-up questions, and remembered the little details I mentioned in passing. At first, it was harmless. It felt good, that's all. Like waking up parts of myself that had been asleep for years. But then it became something else. It wasn't physical, not right away. It was texts, casual at first, then longer, more personal. He told me about his failed engagement, how he felt like he always gave more than he got. I told him about the loneliness I couldn't name, the silence between me and my husband that stretched like a canyon. I didn't mean for it to turn into an emotional affair, but that's exactly what it became. One night, when I stayed late to finish paperwork, he offered to walk me out. It was dark, the parking lot nearly empty. I remember the sound of gravel crunching under our shoes, the way the air smelled faintly like rain. He stopped me by my car and just looked at me. I can't describe it except to say I felt seen in a way I hadn't in years. And then, God help me, I didn't stop him when he kissed me. That kiss cracked something open inside me. I drove home afterward with my heart racing, guilt crashing over me in waves. My husband was on the couch, dozing with the TV on. He looked tired, his face softened in sleep. And for a moment, I thought I could just bury it, lock that kiss away in some dark corner of my mind, and never speak of it. But I couldn't. The contractor and I didn't sleep together. Not yet. But the texts got riskier, the stolen glances longer, the excuses to linger in each other's space more frequent. My husband didn't notice, or maybe he didn't want to notice. He's always been good at avoiding things that are uncomfortable. The guilt is unbearable, and yet I keep going back to it. Every message, every touch of his hand near mine feels like oxygen after years of holding my breath. And here's the twist I didn't expect. Last week, my husband picked up my phone by mistake. He didn't say anything, just handed it back. But I know he saw something. He's been different since then, quieter, almost watchful. I don't know if he's waiting for me to confess or if he's hiding something of his own. The silence is killing me. My husband hasn't confronted me, hasn't asked any questions, hasn't even raised an eyebrow. But I know, God, I know, he saw at least part of the messages. He wouldn't just ignore that. It's like living with a ghost. He goes through the motions, work, dinner, bedtime stories for the kids, but there's this distance, this pause in the air when he looks at me. It's not anger, not yet. It's more like calculation, as if he's waiting to see what I'll do next. And maybe this is where I admit that I almost wanted him to say something, to shout, to accuse, to drag it out into the open. At least then, I wouldn't be trapped in this purgatory of half-truths. Instead, he's calm, and the calmness terrifies me more than rage ever could. I tried pulling him into conversation last night, asked about his day, touched his arm when I passed him the salt at dinner. He responded, but the warmth wasn't there. It was polite, like talking to a coworker. Later, when I reached for him in bed, he didn't pull away, but he didn't respond either. Just lay there, eyes closed, pretending to sleep. Meanwhile, the contractor has been pushing things further. He asked me to meet him outside of work, said he was tired of sneaking around during office hours, tired of being just the guy you text. The way he said it made my chest ache, because he was right. We're already halfway into this mess. Pretending it isn't real feels like lying twice over. But here's where it gets complicated. I think my husband might already be one step ahead of me. Yesterday, I borrowed his laptop to check something, and an email popped up on the screen before I could close it. It wasn't work-related. It was from a woman. No subject line, just a short, familiar tone. I've been thinking about you all day. Can't wait until next time. I froze. I don't know who she is or how long it's been going on, but the realization hit me like a punch. While I've been drowning in guilt over stolen kisses and late-night texts, he's been, what? Sleeping with someone else? Meeting her after work? Planning next times I knew nothing about? I wanted to confront him right then, throw the laptop across the room and demand answers. But I didn't. I closed it, set it back on the table, and forced myself to act normal. So now I'm sitting here wondering, have we both been cheating, each of us thinking we were the only one guilty? Or did he only start after he suspected me? The part that terrifies me most is this. What if he doesn't care enough to fight for me? What if he's already checked out, already found someone who makes him feel alive the way the contractor makes me feel? And then, what happens to us? To the kids? To the life we built that looks so solid from the outside, but is crumbling silently from the inside? I thought I was the one with the secret. Turns out I might not be the only one living a double life. I spent the next few days moving through life like a shadow of myself. Work, kids, dinners, laundry, it all blurred together. Every time I looked at my husband, I wondered if he was picturing someone else. Every time my phone buzzed with a text from the contractor, I wondered if my husband was watching me, silently comparing me to her. The email haunted me, I couldn't stop replaying the words, "Can't wait until next time." The casual intimacy of it, the way it sounded like they already had an established rhythm. Not a one-off mistake, but something ongoing. That realization made me sick in a way I hadn't expected. It was almost laughable. Here I was, sneaking around like some guilty teenager, racked with shame, and all along, my husband might have been doing the exact same thing. A part of me felt relieved. It meant I wasn't the only one to blame for the cracks in our marriage. But another part of me felt disposable, like we'd both checked out without even realizing it, both reaching for someone else to fill the void neither of us wanted to name. That night, I made a choice. I told the contractor I couldn't see him outside of work. Not yet. His face tightened when I said it, the disappointment clear. He didn't argue, but I could tell he thought it was just an excuse. Maybe it was. Maybe I needed to know where things stood with my husband before I dove deeper into something that could tear my life apart completely. Except my husband wasn't making it easy. He was still calm, still polite, still withholding. He kissed me goodnight, kissed me goodbye in the morning, but they were empty gestures, stripped of any weight. I kept waiting for him to explode, to demand answers, to throw my betrayal in my face. But he never did. And then, 2 days later, I got my twist. I was folding laundry in the bedroom when his phone buzzed on the nightstand. Normally, I wouldn't touch it, but this time, curiosity, or maybe desperation, got the better of me. I unlocked it easily. He's never been secretive about his passcode. I opened the messages, hands trembling. And there it was, the same woman from the email. Thread after thread of conversations, stretching back weeks. Flirty jokes, plans to meet up, inside references I didn't understand. One picture of her, nothing explicit, but intimate enough. My chest tightened as I scrolled further until I hit a message that nearly made me drop the phone. She has no idea, does she? His reply, not a clue. She's too distracted these days anyway. Distracted. That word burned me alive. I put the phone down, hands shaking so badly I had to sit on the edge of the bed. My whole world tilted sideways in that moment. All this time, I thought I was carrying the bigger secret, the bigger sin. But he knew. He knew something was off with me, maybe even knew about the contractor. And instead of confronting me, he found someone else. The rage hit me first, hot and sharp. I wanted to march into the kitchen and scream at him, tear into him the way I'd been tearing into myself for weeks. But beneath the rage was something colder, heavier. Grief. Not just for him, not just for me, but for us. For the life we built, the memories, the years of thinking we were safe from the messiness that swallowed other marriages. I didn't say anything that night. I couldn't. The kids were home, chattering about their school projects, asking what we'd have for dinner. The normalcy of it felt surreal, like watching a play while standing backstage, knowing the set was about to collapse. But when he kissed me goodnight, the hollowness of it finally made sense. He wasn't withholding because of guilt. He was withholding because his heart was already somewhere else. And now I don't know what terrifies me more, confessing my own betrayal or admitting to myself that my marriage might already be beyond saving. The next morning, I couldn't keep the mask on any longer. I waited until the kids left for school, then cornered him in the kitchen. My hands were cold, my throat dry. "I saw your messages," I said. He didn't even flinch, just poured himself coffee and said, "I figured you would, eventually." That calmness again, like he'd been rehearsing this. I wanted him to deny it, to fight, to something. Instead, he sat at the table, stirring his coffee like we were discussing the weather. Finally, he looked up and said, "So, are we going to be honest now?" The words knocked the air out of me. "Honest?" I echoed. He nodded. "About everything. About the fact that you've been somewhere else for months." My stomach lurched. He knew. Maybe not the details, maybe not the stolen kiss in the parking lot, but he knew enough. "How long?" I whispered. "How long have you been with her? Does it matter?" His tone was flat, but his eyes were sharp, measuring me, long enough to realize I'm not the only one who's checked out. That stung. Not because it wasn't true, but because hearing it said out loud made it real. We sat there in silence, the hum of the refrigerator filling the air between us. My mind spun with questions I didn't know how to ask. Was she prettier than me? Younger? Did he laugh with her the way he used to laugh with me? Did he look at her and feel alive the way I did with the contractor? Finally, I blurted out, "So what now? Do we just blow it all up? Pretend it didn't happen?" "What?" He sighed, rubbed his forehead. "I don't know. I don't want to blow up the kids' lives, but I also can't keep living like this." The words hung heavy between us, and in that moment, I realized something that chilled me to my core. We weren't just dealing with one betrayal. We were dealing with two fractures, layered on top of each other, making it nearly impossible to see where one ended and the other began. I thought confessing would give me relief. Instead, it left me staring at the ruins of a marriage I wasn't sure either of us wanted to rebuild. We didn't speak much for the next few days. The air inside the house was so thick with tension, it felt like even the kids sensed something, though we tried to keep it together around them. Every smile felt forced, every laugh brittle. Nights were the worst, lying beside each other in silence, both wide awake, both too proud or too afraid to reach across the gulf between us. I kept waiting for a breaking point, some explosion that would force us into clarity. Instead, what I got was a conversation so calm it almost destroyed me more than shouting ever could. It was a Saturday morning. The kids had gone off to a friend's house, and we sat at the kitchen table, the same spot where we'd once shared everything from bills to holiday plans. Except this time, the only thing on the table was the truth we'd been dodging for months. He looked at me for a long time before speaking. "Do you still love me?" The question nearly broke me because I didn't know how to answer. "I don't know," I admitted, my voice small. "I love who we were. I love the life we built. But right now, I don't know if I love this. I gestured between us, at the hollow shell of what used to be a marriage. He nodded slowly, like he expected that answer. I don't know if I love this either, he said, then softer. But I think I still love you. That's the worst part. I bit my lip until I tasted blood, because in that moment, I realized I still loved him too, in some twisted, broken way. But was love enough after what we'd done to each other? After the texts, the lies, the secrets in parking lots, and email threads. I can't stop thinking about him, I whispered, ashamed even as I said it. The contractor. It wasn't just a fling. He made me feel alive again. He closed his eyes, let out a long breath. And I can't stop thinking about her. She made me feel wanted. There it was, laid bare. 2 betrayals, equal in weight, neither of us holding the moral high ground. For a moment, I thought we might choose to end it right there. Pack bags, call lawyers, explain to the kids why their world was about to change. But then he surprised me. What if we try? He asked. Not for them. Not just to keep the family together. For us. What if we try one last time to see if there's anything left worth saving? I stared at him, stunned. After everything, after the lies and the cheating, he still wanted to fight for this? I expected resentment, anger, maybe even hatred. But what I saw in his eyes wasn't any of those things. It was exhaustion, yes, but also something like hope. And here's the part I never saw coming. I wanted to try too. Not because of guilt, not because of fear of being alone, but because, despite everything, I couldn't let go of the man who'd once been my best friend, my partner, my home. So we made a pact. No more secrets. No more side lives. If we were going to burn, we'd burn together, fully in the open. That night, we deleted numbers, erased messages, blocked contacts. I cried as I hit delete on the contractor's name, not because I wanted him more than my husband, but because he represented the version of me that still believed escape was easier than fixing what was broken. My husband did the same, his face unreadable as he typed. We went to bed without touching, without saying much else. But for the first time in months, the silence didn't feel like punishment. It felt like space. Space to decide who we would be from here on out. I don't know if we'll make it. Some wounds cut too deep to ever fully heal. Maybe we'll fall apart anyway, 6 months or a year from now, when the resentment resurfaces and the old habits creep back in. But maybe we'll claw our way out of this, scarred but still standing. What I do know is this: marriages don't break in one moment, with one kiss or one text. They erode slowly, in the missed glances, the silences, the little choices to turn away instead of toward each other. We both turned away, and now, for the first time in a long time, we're trying to turn back. It's not a fairy tale. It's not even forgiveness yet. But it's a beginning. And maybe, after all the wreckage, that's enough.